How do you say things in the past in French? Well, there are two past tenses that you really need to know, the perfect and the imperfect tenses. The perfect tense is the most commonly used of the two. You'd use it when you're describing completed events or actions that only happened once or just a few times in the past. For example, I ate my dinner or I have eaten my dinner. The imperfect tense is used for continuous events or actions that happened regularly in the past and indeed might be part of something that's still happening. For example, I was eating my dinner. This video deals with the perfect tense. I ate or I have eaten. J'ai mangé. The I have part, j'ai, comes from avoir, to have, and the manger part, M-A-N-G-E acute, manger, is the past participle of the verb to eat, manger. Both these mangers are pronounced in the same way. So let's eat some apples. The conjugation of avoir, to have, looks like this. J'ai, tu as, il a, elle a, nous avons, vous avez, ils ont, elles ont. And the good news is that for most sentences at least, this participle manger stays the same for all the conjugations. Let's take the sentence you ate the apple. And there's the apple, la pomme. Tu as mangé la pomme. Tu as mangé la pomme. They ate the apple. Ils ont mangé la pomme. Ils ont mangé la pomme, and so on. Let's have a look now at the past participles of all three common types of verbs. That's the ER, IR, and RE verbs. The ER verb acheter means to buy, and like the ER verb you've just seen, manger, the past participle is formed by replacing the final ER with E acute. Acheter, A-C-H-E-T-E acute. For IR verbs like choisir, to choose, the past participle is formed by knocking off the final R. So choisir becomes choisi, C-H-O-I-S-I. And finally, the RE verbs, vendre is to sell, and its past participle is formed by taking off the final RE and replacing it with U. So vendre becomes vendu, V-E-N-D-U. So, you bought the apple. Tu as acheté la pomme. Tu as acheté la pomme. We chose the apple. Nous avons choisi la pomme. Nous avons choisi la pomme. And they sold the apple. Ils ont vendu la pomme. Ils ont vendu la pomme. All the examples of the perfect tense so far are based on avoir. But just to make things a bit more interesting, there's a collection of verbs that use être instead of avoir. For example, arriver, to arrive, sortir, to leave, and this one, aller, to go. So, I went to the market. Not j'ai allé, but je suis allé au marché. Je suis allé au marché. This time the je suis part is based on être, and the aller is the usual past participle. Let's work through a couple of other examples using être instead of avoir. Here are the 6 conjugations of être. Je suis, tu es, il est, elle est, nous sommes, vous êtes, ils sont, elles sont. And here's the past participle of aller, to go, A-L-L-E acute. So, I went to the cinema. Je suis allé au cinéma. Je suis allé au cinéma. Now how about she went to the cinema? Using être is a bit more complicated than avoir because the participle requires agreement with the subject. In this case, because she is feminine, you must add an extra e onto aller. So it becomes elle est allée au cinéma. Elle est allée au cinéma, with an e at the end of aller. Similarly, all the plural conjugations require an s. And elle plural requires an es. So, for example, we went to the cinema is nous sommes allés au cinéma. Nous sommes allés au cinéma, with an s at the end of aller. So, to summarize the story so far on the issue of agreement, when using the perfect tense with avoir, for most sentence constructions, there's no need to worry about making the participle agree with the subject. So, she visited the cafe is just elle a visité le café. No agreement because it's avoir. But we stayed in Paris. Nous sommes restés à Paris. Rester takes être, so there is agreement here. There's an s on the end of rester because nous is plural. The majority of verbs use avoir, and of the verbs taking être, some refer to a change of location. For example, one you've seen, aller to go, arriver to arrive, rester to stay, partir to leave, and tomber to fall. Other verbs taking être involve a change of state. For example, naître to be born and mourir to die. So, this morning she washed the car. Laver is to wash and it takes avoir. So the French translation is ce matin elle a lavé la voiture. Ce matin elle a lavé la voiture. And because it uses avoir, there's no need for agreement at the end of laver. But this morning she stayed at home. Rester, to stay, takes être, and it's ce matin elle est restée chez lui. Ce matin elle est restée chez lui. Now there is agreement, and added e because elle is feminine. They walked on the floor. Marcher to walk uses avoir, so it's simply ils ont marché sur le plancher. Ils ont marché sur le plancher. Because I'm using avoir, there's no need for agreement on the end of the participle. But they fell on the floor. Tomber to fall uses être, so it's ils sont tombés sur le plancher. Ils sont tombés sur le plancher, and added s because il is plural. By the way, these rules of agreement matter more with written French, but when you're speaking in the perfect tense, you'll probably get away with a few slip-ups. And those are the main rules for the perfect tense.